Now, the Democratic Alliance leader, John Steenhuisen, says that President Cyril Ramaphosa's stance on the economy is not coming from the DA's manifesto, but from its track record where it's governing. Steenhuisen claims that the president's speech comes directly from the DA's playbook. The president drew mixed reaction when he told the nation last week that job creation was the private sector's responsibility. He said that government's role was to provide conditions for business to grow and generate the jobs. Steenhuisen was speaking at the debate on the State of the Nation address at the Cape Town City Hall today.
Now you tell us that your government has given itself, and I quote, 100 days to finalize a social compact to grow our economy, create jobs and combat hunger, unquote. Now, no one here can argue with that. They're incredible goals. But what were you doing for the last 100 days? Or the last 1,000 days, for that matter? Our country's been in an absolute crisis for a very long time. And it's incomprehensible that you arrive at a SONA to tell us that you're now going to start thinking of a plan. You should have used SONA to announce the plan. And not only the plan, but the progress on implementation. Don't say, do. And again on Thursday, you told us that those responsible for state capture will be punished. But if you'd read the first two reports of the Zondo Commission, you would know that you still continue to employ many of those implicated in your own cabinet. In your fifth State of the Nation address, you're still promising South Africa prosecutions. Yet not one of those implicated cadres has been charged or convicted.
EFF Leader Julius Malema says that the country's unemployment rate has been the highest under President Ramaphosa's leadership.
Mr. President, you must admit that under your leadership, South Africa is in worse condition than it has ever been. You are currently the worst president to have ever occupied that position, and you are the worst president that has ever occurred to black people, and you are not surprised that black people are getting poorer under your leadership. There is no successful black businessman who was thriving before you became president who can claim that he's still thriving under your leadership. All those BEE deals which were sealed before you came in, they were terminated by white capital because they said they no longer need BEE partners. They've got you, you will protect them. Everyone who supported you, every business person, black business person who donated money into the CR17 and campaign, today says a different story because you have abandoned all of them for your own white monopoly capital.
Political analyst and governance expert Sandile Swana joins us now for a little bit more on this debate that's been taking place in the makeshift National Assembly. Good to talk to you. Always good to have you on our program. Sandile, welcome.
Good evening to you, Peter, and your viewer. Thank you so much.
All right, you've got a good smile on your face. I suppose listening to what was happening in the City Hall today, one wonders if President Ramaphosa is smiling today.
Well, at least he's got a backup. He was embraced warmly by the DA. Saying that they are proposing a vote of no confidence on his cabinet and not on him, not on the president. So if he can partner with the DA, according to the DA's view, they can help him to perform, which is something that he has demonstrated not to know how to do since 2012 when he joined the presidency. It has been a presidency of zeros for Cyril Ramaphosa so far.
Are there any mitigating circumstances? I mean, we certainly were coming out of an era of state capture, according to the just released reports on allegations of state capture. And also, we've been going through the worst pandemic that's hit the world in 100 years. Are these not two significant events that could be offered as mitigating circumstances for his presidency?
Groenewald of the Freedom Front Plus is one of many who took the time to go through the statistics and show that actually as soon as Ramaphosa took the presidency as state president, in the first 2 years, there was a significant drop in the GDP growth rate before COVID-19. Secondly, you will remember that when Cyril Ramaphosa was brought in Mangaung to be the deputy president, he was the one who was brought in to create a business-friendly ANC that would unlock all the doors of investment into the country and usher us into a period of unparalleled prosperity. But since the Polokwane conference until today, the economy of South Africa has deteriorated rapidly, and it has deteriorated the fastest under Ramaphosa. On the side of mitigating circumstances, you will remember that in this session, the parties reminded us that the engine room of state capture was the ANC Deployment Committee, which was chaired by President Cyril Ramaphosa, who was deputy president at the time. And the very same DA who are his friends and his supporters have requested the minutes so that they can get all the details of all the deployees that he authorized to go into the various state-owned entities, to be DGs, to be all sorts of places, and conduct state capture. So the very mitigation that he wants to put forward, that there was state capture, he was in the engine room orchestrating it and planting cadres in strategic places to remove the wealth of this nation out of the cover of this nation.
So are you saying that all the criticism that we heard, I mean, this is what opposition parties do. They're not going to go in there and say, Mr. President, we love your work. They're going to pick and they're going to throw pies at him. Do you think that all of it was justified, or that they left some things out that perhaps they can say, on this you've done okay?
This is a very difficult thing, Peter. If you send your son to go and do matric, and he gets 10% for every subject and get 90% for life, there's life orientation. There's this subject they call life orientation. Every other subject is 10%, and he fails matric. And then he wants us to discuss the fact that he got 90% for life orientation. I don't think we should be having discussions like that. I don't think that is constructive. The statistics of success of a president, any president in South Africa, we get them from Stats SA. Those statistics cover a number of areas. Some of them we get from the Human Sciences Research Council, and I'll give examples. The statistics on unemployment and unemployment, that is crucial. The statistics on real wages in South Africa. The statistics on the GDP growth rate, we get them from there. Statistics on exports, and so on and so forth, quality of life surveys. All of those statistics. Then we get the reports from the Auditor General on the standard of governance in South Africa, and the various parliamentary committees and other oversight structure. When you take those reports, you can almost take them with your eyes closed and pick any one of them. They are devastating. Actually, you become emotional. You become teary as you read, whether it's a report from the SIU, any of the structures that are part of oversight, they are devastating. So for somebody to point at some miscellaneous things of little consequence that we must discuss that. It's a waste of our time.
All right, so he's going to be the fall guy because he's the guy in charge, but is this more an indictment of the politics of the ANC? Because it may be that he had to have people in cabinet that he didn't want to have there because he had to balance the political forces within his own party.
You could be a member of the ANC, you could be a member of the DA, you could be a member of Action SA, Freedom Front Plus. He chose the party that he wanted to join. And he wanted his career to flourish and prosper in the ANC, and he still wants that. So we can't blame the party that he chose. He chose that party himself. It is his party. And if you listen to the leaked report, that is the subject of Scopa today, that Scopa is discussing, where he says that he wouldn't want the public to know that some of the internal campaigning inside the ANC was funded with state money stolen from the state, because the reputation of the ANC would be in tatters. He wants to protect the ANC. So he's an ANC man. So we cannot say a person who loves the ANC, who belongs to the ANC, who's been conscious of the ANC, what it is and what it is not, and who's actively involved in it, that he must use it as a defense for his the performance of his career. That would be a mistake in my judgment.
A lot has happened during his presidency. We've had an inquiry into state capture. We've started to see high-profile people being arrested and come before the law. Yes, it's taken time. I just wonder, he's made promises. Can he be believed that things will change going forward and that maybe the first couple of years have been transitional period of time for him?
I think if you listened to the members of parliament, they do not believe that Cyril Ramaphosa on his own accord is likely to act in the manner that the members of parliament would prefer him to act. Now, one example is that the issue of state security, when he took over power in 2018, immediately he called Sandile Swana to go and investigate what was going on at the state security. Within the same year, Sandile Swana brought back the report to Cyril Ramaphosa, and Cyril never acted on that report. And that report needed very serious and urgent action until the insurrection last year. He never acted on it. After the insurrection last year, he never acted, although most of us, using publicly available information, could narrow down to say this insurrection came from these quarters. These are the quarters from which it came. And those quarters are within the ANC, the NEC of the ANC, and he knows who they are. And he has not acted on it. Until then, another sort of commission was sort of set up to go and investigate what he knows, and then come and tell him what he knows. And then we say he will act on that. And I'm not saying he's not going to act on that, but he's not going to act on that because he's got a very good heart. He's going to act on that because the opposition parties, civil society, and all sorts of community organizations are going to compel him to act. In the same manner that when the comrades made a decision recently to say, look, the courts have put Jacob Zuma in jail, we'll take him out. It was civil society that took action and requested the courts to confirm whether Zuma should stay outside or inside. And the courts have confirmed that he must stay inside. And now we're going through the motions of trying to corral him and bring him back to the jails. So the days of closing down scorpions, all those things, society has woken up to say, no, we're being taken for a ride here. So let's have, from a society perspective, not a presidential perspective, let's run this country.
So might he survive a vote of no confidence in Parliament? And if so, will he survive a vote of confidence at the end of the year?
In Parliament, he will be well defended by the DA and probably well defended by the Freedom Front Plus and other right-wing type of parties, because he is the bulwark who protects the 1994 settlement, which gave the black majority political power and deprived them of economic power until today. So Cyril Ramaphosa is a shield for white privilege in South Africa, and he is well defended in that capacity. So even the many who have benefited a lot from this arrangement that came about in 1994 are going to protect him, including the corrupt. They are going to protect him because he protects, he's a protector. He protects all kinds of interests. So they are unlikely to succeed in a vote of no confidence, regardless of his incompetence and poor performance.
Sandile Swana, always good talking to you. Thanks very much indeed for your insights tonight.
Thank you so much, Peter. Bye.
All right, that's where we'll leave that. That's the State of the Nation debate taking place in Parliament today, and the President coming under fire from all quarters of opposition parties today. And of course, the ANC defending their leader, saying that things could have been worse if it was not for his leadership, and that he's been one of the most transparent presidents in laying bare some of the issues and the challenges that the country is facing, with promises on how to fix them.